Hey everyone, I'm TheWestonian, and I'm the 5awesomecubers Saturday guest today. And Chris has been bugging me to do this for a really long time, since before the channel was even announced. So today I have time to make a video, so I'll make a video today for him, or for the 5 people, I guess, or for you, whoever it's for. So I was thinking of a topic that I should make a video on, and since Chris just recently announced the challenge for the two-handed solve and the one-handed solve, there have been a lot of people posting videos of them solving one-handed, and it kind of looks like a lot of them don't practice one-handed, which I don't understand because it's my favorite event and I practice it a lot, or as much as I can. And so I thought that I'd make a video on one-handed tips or just one-handed turning. So the first thing I'm going to go over is the type of cubes that people like to use. My cube that I like to use is an Edison cube, and this has been broken in a lot, so it's very loose and it cuts corners pretty well, and that's why I like to use it for one-handed. And also I'm very used to it, and the pieces feel kind of heavy, so it doesn't really overturn. And another one that people like to use is the Type C from Puzzle Pros on eBay. It's pretty good. I like it, but I like my Edison a little bit better. Maybe it might be just because I'm more used to it, but yeah, that's that. Another cube that people like to use is the Joy Cube, and the reason that cube is good is because the sides almost lock into place when you turn it because it has a crispy feel. So that reduces the chance that you will lock up. Some other cubes that people like to use at competitions are the mini cubes. This is a mini Diansheng, and this is a mini Type C. I see a lot of people using this for one-handed just because I guess people with small hands, it fits their hand better. And it still turns really well even though it is a small cube. I, however, have very large hands since I play piano. So I like to use regular sized cubes. I don't feel like you absolutely must go out and get one of these cubes in order to get good times for one-handed because not everyone uses these. Like, I know Dan Zoan and his brother use Rubik's brands for one-handed. So it's just pretty much preference. And so just try out all of your cubes for a while, and if you really hate them for one-handed, I guess you can go out and get one of these. So first is holding, the way you hold it. Holding is very important because the last thing you want to do in one-handed is drop the cube, and I've done that before in competition. So basically, the fingers that I like to turn with are the pinky finger, the ring finger, and the index finger. So I hold it with my thumb on one center and then my middle finger on the opposite center, just so it doesn't disrupt any turning, like when I'm doing D and U. Sometimes I will hold it like this for a very short amount of time, and I will go over that later. I use my left hand for one-handed even though I am right-handed just because I have easier access to the R and U faces. But if you do use your right hand, you can just kind of mirror this video in your head. It shouldn't be too hard to figure out. It's pretty much the same thing. So my ultimate goal for one-handed turning is to make it as close to the two-handed turning as I can. And the difference is that two-handed turning will be more of a smooth, continuous chain of moves, while one-handed is more likely to be a bunch of disjointed moves. And so you're trying to make these moves as smooth as possible without pauses in between them. And so I use multiple finger tricks for each kind of move. Like, I don't have just one for R or one for U prime. I use multiple ones depending on the position that my hand is in. So I'll go over all of them right now. So for U, I take my index finger, place it on this sticker right here, and just push. It's pretty simple. Another one that's a little bit harder that I've been working on is this. And that's useful for when you're doing moves with the R face or the D face or something that keeps your finger away from here. And your finger is here, then you can just do that. For U prime, it's a lot easier, just this. And that's pretty much the only one that I use. Okay, now for R. R is also pretty simple. just take your fourth finger or your fifth finger, whichever one you like better, and just flick it like that. It's pretty easy. R prime is a little bit more difficult though. What some people like to do is to reach all the way over here and do it with their index finger. That can be slow in some situations, it's fast in some other situations, but for all the situations that it's slow in, I like to do this. And this can be hard until you find the right angle to hold the cube. People like to say, oh, my hand's too small to do that, but that's not true, because if I hold the cube at this angle, there's no way I can reach that side to turn it. But if I just tilt it like that, then all of a sudden it's so much easier to turn that. And you can use your pinky or your ring finger, whichever one you like. I use both, depending on the situation. Now for you two, you can either do this, just twice, but it's a little better if you do this, the double trigger. What some other people like to do is that they take this U finger trick, and then they just extend it to a U2. I haven't really gotten good at that one yet, so I don't use that in solves yet, but I imagine it to be very fast once you get used to it. And for R2, you have either just do it twice, or you can double trigger it. Preferably, you should do the double trigger if you can. Now for F. F is a very troublesome face because it's very hard to reach with one hand. What a lot of people do is they just rotate the cube and then just treat it like a U. But of course, rotations will create those pauses again, which we're trying to get rid of. So what I do is, I showed you this grip before. I hold it with my pinky and my index finger, and then I kind of support it in the back, and then I use my thumb, grab this corner, and turn it like that. This is very hard to get used to, or at least it was for me, so don't expect this to be fast right away. And again, you can do the F prime in the same manner, just reversed, and then you can even do F2. Now for D, pretty easy. Just reach in the back here. You can kind of move your wrist up and reach down to do that. And then for D prime, you kind of have the same thing as the R prime finger trick. Just move your wrist over a little bit and do it like that. And then for double trigger, again, you have pinky, ring finger. Double triggers are in general pretty hard to get used to. And for L, what I do is just do a Z, and then just treat it as a U, and then the old U face is an R now. And this cube rotation won't create much pauses because it's a really easy cube rotation for one-handed. A lot easier than this or this. And the reason I'll just rotate it is because during F2L, if I ever have to use L, it's usually because it's a string of L's and U's. So it just becomes a string of U's and R's if I rotate it. And I never really use B for one-handed. So now I'll show you some examples of algorithms using these finger tricks. And I'll show you the R prime one first, because that's the first one that you should really get used to. Let's say anti-soon, this algorithm. Let's see, without that finger trick, it becomes this. And see, I have to reach over here to do that twice. And as you can see, that's pretty slow. So if you are good at the R prime finger trick, what you can do is this. And that's a whole lot faster. In my opinion, at least. Now, like I said, this is not always better than this. For example, let's say the trigger RU, R prime, U prime. R, U, and then see how natural R prime is like that? So I could just do U prime like that. So in that case, it'd be a lot faster to do R prime with your index finger instead of... I think that's a little bit awkward. It might not be for you, but it is for me. So now I'm going to show you an example of the F turn that I do. And so I'm going to use the T perm. So without that F turn, the T perm becomes this. See, there were 3 rotations in there. One to do the F, and then another one to do it back, and then another one to do the last F. But if you're able to do this, you can do this. Then for this last F, I'll just rotate it since it's the last move. And so that can be a lot faster. I lucked up a little bit at the end, but you saw the F turn, and that didn't slow me down. So it's basically the mastery of all your finger tricks that'll get you to a point where you're turning just like you do two-handed when you're only using one hand. And so that's it for this tutorial. I hope that was helpful to some of you, and thanks for watching. Bye.